Hey guys, welcome to the Bison Herd. I'm gonna share my screen here. So here we like to call ourselves the Bison Herd. We just had our team event, the Totally Bison team event, and I asked Jared if he could share the story real quick of the bison and why we love bison.
So years ago, there was an author that was in his writing, one of the places that he loved to retreat to was the, what's it called?
The prairie?
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone.
My brain's not working today. So he loved to go to Yellowstone just to be away from all the technology and all the noise and stuff. And one of the things that he noticed, that he observed when he was out there, was as storms would come in and move their way across that area, they were huge thunderstorms. And there were both cows and cattle and bison that would graze out in these open fields and prairies. So the cows would run away from the storm while the bison would turn and head straight into the storm. And through this process, the cattle would be in the storm for a lot longer because they would just kind of be moving with the storm. While the bison, they would go head on into it. And although they might hit the strength of the storm early on as it's hitting the prairies, they were through it really quickly because they just kept moving head on. So that's what we do as coaches. And we help not only ourselves, but we help other people. We have the privilege of helping other people manage the storms of life head on and charge into them so that we're not constantly perpetually in the storms.
I love that. So we like to think of ourselves as the bison herd, that we like to take things head on. So if you are a new coach, congratulations for being on and really just diving right in. So just a little poll here to start off. Why did you join Optavia? So, okay, put in the chat. So put a number 1 if you joined because you wanted to be more likely to be healthy long term. Put a number 2 if you wanted to be part of changing the health of America. Put a number 3 if you wanted to improve your financial health, and put 1, 2, 3 if you wanted all of those. So go ahead and put that in the chat right now. We want to know why you wanted to become a coach. My sister told me to. Yes, or put another reason if there is another reason too. And so does anyone want to come off mute and just share real quick why you decided that you wanted to become a coach? What was your why? Anybody willing to share with us?
I'll share, Amber.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the doctor told my dad he was a walking heart attack. And so that was a really big scare for my family. And then I told him what plan I've been doing and told him he could talk to my coach. And he said, if I'm going to do this, I want you to help me. So that was a done deal.
I love it. So Robin's was more towards the number 2, that she really wanted to be part of the health and hope of America, and specifically her own family. That's a huge one. Anybody else want to share their why real quick?
Amber, I'll share.
Go ahead, Karen.
So mine was to stop the craziness of doing a program, quitting, doing a program, have it work, not work. I wanted something that's going to go forever, and I'm going to become that new healthy way. So that's really a reason. Keep me in line.
I love that, Karen. That's so true. There's so many of us who it's that first one. They want to be 5 times more likely to achieve and maintain that optimal health. So there's a lot of different reasons why people become coaches. Jared and I would say that when we first started, probably one of our biggest reasons was we really wanted to improve our financial health. But the cool thing is that all three of these happened for us and more. So no matter what your reason is, we want to welcome you to the Bison Herd and to Optavia Coaching. So let's just tell you a little bit about how it all started. So Dr. A, he was valedictorian of his medical school class. He trained in open heart surgery at Cleveland Clinic. He was the 10th board certified critical care physician in the entire country. He was the surgical critical care director at Grandview Hospital and the department chair of anesthesiology for over 18 years. He's kind of a big deal. Like Dr. A has it all together. But here's what was happening was that he really found that he was catching the bodies downstream, like patching people up, sending them home. But what he really wanted to do is make a difference in the health and hope of America. He wanted to help people create health in their life. And that wasn't happening in critical care. He was good at what he did, but it wasn't making that difference that he really wanted to be making. So he left his medical career and was looking for how he could make a difference. So he found our parent company, which our programs and fuelings, they've been recommended by over 20,000 doctors since 1980, gold standard research and development and clinical research, quality ingredients. That he was really drawn to this. He said, I know that these products and programs, that they work. And he said, but here's what you're missing. You're missing the habits of health. You're missing a coach. You're missing the accountability. So it was a perfect marriage. And Optavia today, Dr. A is the co-founder and medical director of Optavia. Our mission is to help our country create health, not just react to disease. And soon the world. We're expanding internationally very soon. And we've been around as Optavia over 18 years, helping over 1 million people so far. So this is the cool thing too, is Forbes magazine named our company one of America's most trustworthy companies. So you've made a great decision in joining us in helping America. So how do we help? We talked about this already just a little bit. It's more than just helping people to lose weight, although our program works really, really well for that too. Let's be honest. We've all seen these success stories, and you guys are some of the best stories that I've seen. But we really focus on healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy finances. That's what we offer to America. But let's talk about limiting beliefs, because here's the thing. Sometimes when maybe we're a client, or maybe we are just watching someone else before we became a coach, and we're like, oh my goodness, this program's the best. Like, raise your hand if this happened to you, where you're like, you're so excited about it, you're telling everyone about it, and then you became a coach and all of a sudden you stop talking to anybody. Raise your hand if that happened to you. You don't have to raise your hand. Okay, I see a few hands. And it's like all of a sudden you go, oh no, now it's different, right? Well, here's the good news. It's not different. But we want to go over some of those limiting beliefs, some of those things that tend to hold us back. And I love this picture. This is actually from the workbook, from the Habits of Health workbook, Living a Longer, Healthier Life. And it shows this guy, and he's holding this rock, and it's why I can't do it, or why I can't be successful. And the rock is our concepts, it's our limiting beliefs, our problems, things that come up and hold us back from being successful. And really, if we just let go of these rocks, we can just swim right over to that dock, jog up the hill, and reach our goals. So think about, what's your goal with coaching? And a lot of you already shared that. You want to be healthier long term. You want to be part of changing America's health, or you want to financially be more successful, help your financial health. So let's talk about some of those limiting beliefs, because we all have them. Okay, here's one. This is one that I had. What if I didn't lose weight? Or what if I didn't lose my weight on the Optavia plan? I lost my weight several years before I became a coach. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't lose my weight with this plan. Why is anyone going to listen to me? Or What about people who are, already fit or at a healthy weight when they come in? Raise your hand if this was a limiting belief that you had maybe coming in to this. Okay, I see a few hands. This was my main one. Or the other side of this was, everybody I know is already healthy. That was a big one. Oh, and I saw Jared's hand go up on that one. Everyone I know is already healthy. They don't need this. So there's a lot of different limiting beliefs that happen. Jana Lee, did you have a question?
No.
Okay, you just were coming off mute, so I'll mute you again. Okay, so the good news is, I always use this analogy. Let's say that I was pregnant. Heaven forbid, I'm done having babies. But let's say if I was pregnant, who would I go to deliver my baby? I would probably look at credentials. I would look at, maybe ask some friends. I would look at who has successfully delivered babies. I see Jess Grover. She has her baby. What a cute baby. And I would say, okay, who is a really good doctor who can deliver my baby? You know what I wouldn't ask? I probably wouldn't go to every single doctor and say, how many babies have you birthed? I mean, the male doctors, they wouldn't have birthed any babies, right? And it's just one of those things. It's like, you probably wouldn't care if they had 12 kids or 1 kid or no kids. You would see who could help you deliver your baby. The same is true with somebody who wants to get healthy. They're going to say, who can help me, who has a program that works really well, and let's try it out. So there's been so many successful coaches who have not necessarily had weight to lose when they became coaches. Here's another one. This one's big. What if I'm not at my goal weight? Okay, the first thing I say to that is, good. You can ask your friends to be part of your support system. Come do this with you. Who doesn't want to do something as a team, as a group? And this is a big thing to understand as a new coach. We are not a group of perfect people. Okay, let me say that again. Optavia is not a group of perfect people. It's not. We are a supportive group working on health together. Here's some examples. Christy Walker, she's still working on her health journey. She became a coach before she got to her goal weight. I love it. Or my friend Shirley Mast, who helps run a lot of the Habits of Health calls. She became a coach when I believe she was down only about 40 pounds. She lost 187 pounds total. So raise your hand if that was maybe one of your concepts, that you had to be at your goal weight in order to be a coach. Raise your hand. Okay, I see a lot of hands on that one. And it's just a mindset shift. Because if what Optavia is a group of perfect people, then that would be true. That would be 100%. You'd have to wait till you hit your goal. And if you ever gained a pound back, you're totally fired, right? Good news, that is not true. We're all working on it together. Think of it more of like a support group. Like, okay, we're all just linking arms, and sometimes we're failing and sometimes we're succeeding, but we're learning about it along the way. I want to open it up. Who has this concept and it's kind of holding you back a little bit? Don't be shy. I know that's hard. It's hard to hit that unmute button. You're in a safe place, my friends. Or maybe this was one of your concepts and you overcame it, or have a story about it.
I have something, Amber.
Go ahead, Krista.
So I was worried because if I became a coach before I'd hit my goal, that people wouldn't become my clients. They wouldn't look at me and say, oh, she's doing something great. I want to do what she does. But I'm like, if I'm not there yet, they're going to look at me and say, well, it hasn't worked for her yet. How's it going to work for me?
Yeah. Ooh, that's huge. How many of you guys can relate to that?
You know what's interesting about that to me? I've spent a lot of years of my life going to the gym, and I always look at trainers. And you know what percentage of trainers are like shredded, like 10%. A lot of the fitness instructors and trainers and stuff, they're still working on it themselves, yet people go to their classes and they go to these people day after day, month after month, year after year, because they just want to be in it with someone who's focused on it with them.
I love that. It's so true. And honestly, you may or may not get that. I've talked to my friend Shirley Mast, and she said that, yeah, sometimes people like were not very nice. And we're like, hey, Shirley, maybe you should try your program. It, like really hard things for people to say. People are mean sometimes, right? And all you have to say is, I'm on the road. It's really cool that we don't have to wait to be perfect before we help somebody else. Because honestly, we're never perfect. We're never there. We're never done. It's like the laundry. You gotta keep doing it every single week or day or however much laundry you have, right?
I'm gonna add to that, Amber, that like we don't say you even ever arrived at perfect, you're never gonna stay there. So even once you become a coach, like I go back and forth every once in a while. I'm not always perfect with my health, and I'm just grateful to be a coach to keep me in it. So I think it's a huge blessing.
Okay, that is such a good point, Julia. It's not you're 5 times more likely to reach and reach your goal weight and then be perfect forever. Like it's not. And the trick is that it's getting into the trainings, it's being part of the community, it's helping other people, because you could buy that coach kit, and I'm going to tell you that statistic would not apply to you. If you just bought the coach kit and let it sit in your back room, there's mine right there, and never did anything and never improved your mind and never helped another person, that statistic just flat out would not apply to you. It's so true. Okay, let's keep going. So good, we're busting our limiting beliefs right and left here, right? Okay, here's one. Is it bad to get paid to help people? I kind of alluded to this earlier. Like sometimes before we become a coach and we're a client, we're so excited. We're like 20 pounds down in like 2 hours. Just kidding. And we're like telling everybody and like, oh my gosh, you have to do this. And then as soon as we buy our kit, we're like, oh no, I can't talk to anybody. What if they think I'm trying to sell them something? Or what if I get paid to help somebody, right? Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys, who had this? Who did this affect? That you're worried about getting paid to help your friends? Okay, I'm seeing a couple hands. Isn't that funny? It's like, why did it change? What was different about it? And the cool thing is there's a lot of professions that get paid to help us, if you think about it. A doctor, do you go to the doctor's office and she's like helping you diagnose or give you some medicine and you're like, oh, you don't want to help me. You just want my money. You didn't want to help me figure out the problem. No, of course not. That's just duh. Of course we pay them. Or counselors, police officers, even nonprofit agencies, their people get paid to run those. I love this quote. We are not placed on this earth to walk alone. And it's okay if what we do helps other people and is our profession, even better, right? Here's Jared and I when we were married on our wedding day. It's almost our 20th anniversary in like a couple days. Well, in a month actually. And okay, so here's a big one. Can people afford to do this program? Okay, raise your hand if you've ever thought this. I'm not sure if someone can afford it. Oh, I'm not sure if it's too expensive. Okay, or just blink. So here is a big one, you guys. Okay, who wants to come off mute and talk to me about this one? Okay, Jess, I'm gonna unmute you. Okay.
I think of like, yeah, some people can afford it. But then when I got on it, I kind of realized I actually save money. You don't go to the groceries or the gas station and buy all that junk food. You could buy $20 worth of junk food, and that's a whole day's worth of meals and a half or whatever for on the plan. So I just figured you could actually save money by doing this. Yeah, so.
Totally. Okay, who agrees with Jess on that one? Who has found that you actually end up saving money? Okay, or you just don't buy the junk, or like before you actually didn't look at your budget, you just like swipe whenever you go to the grocery store or out to eat, and you don't even add it up, and you're thinking in your head, I probably only spend $200 a month, when really it's like 800, right? Like, it's so true. So it's really a concept that sometimes holds us back because we tend to judge, like, okay, should I talk to that person? Wait, let me assess whether or not they can afford this. Let's see, what kind of car do they drive? What kind of house do they have? Are their kids in sports? Like, isn't that so funny? Like, how judgmental that we get. And isn't it funny? We're always like, don't judge me. Don't be judgmental. Like, it's such a bad thing, yet we totally do that, right? You don't have to raise your hand if you've ever done that, because we've all done it. Oh, Shannon's like, I did it. I'm just going to say it. I love it. So that is definitely a skill to practice. I put a picture of Jared and I because when we started this, we were broke as a joke. Like, we had no money, you guys. We didn't have a credit card to put it on because we were totally bankrupt. And here's the thing, is we figured out how to make it happen because it was important. It's about priorities. Isn't it funny? You can have somebody on food stamps who, has no money, living in the ghetto, but you see like they have these sweet, expensive rims on their car, or they go to Disneyland 3 times a year. Like, it's so interesting. It's people spend money on what's important. So it's not our job to judge whether they can afford it. It's our job to share. So here's another thing. I'm afraid of being salesy. Just blink if you've ever thought this one, because this one's huge too. Good news, you don't have to sell anything. We simply spread the word. And if you look at it, here's the fact. 70% of our country are overweight and obese. So even if you thought of this program as only a weight loss program, which it isn't, this is a health program. This program helped me so much that even when I was at a healthy weight with my blood sugar. So, okay, here's a question in the chat. How do we get over that mindset when it's a financial strain for myself? Ooh, this is a good one. Who has a comment for this? Who has some ideas?
This is Jared.
I do. Oh, Jared, sorry.
Oh, go Jared and then Karen.
So Jennifer's not here right now, so maybe I can call her out a little bit. But she's really struggled with this. I think this is something that just takes time. It's something that is a mindset for us that you have to continue to work at, and you have to see success with people who are in this experience where they don't have a lot of money and they still make it a priority, and they choose to make that a priority for them, and it impacts their life, right? And I think that's part of it. I think the other thing, like I say, is just work on our own mindset that look, there's so much more to this than just selling these fuelings, right? There are 4 components to this program, right? And only one of them costs money.
I love that, Jared. Such a good point. Karen, do you have something else to add to that?
I do. A lot of times when people tell me, in fact, we did it last night. Oh, you know what? That's just not in my budget. And so the first thing I say is, you know what? That's the great thing that I did, is that I became a coach because I wanted to pay for my food. So that was really one of my whys in the very beginning. And within the first month, I was paying for my food. And so, it's kind of just blows that out of the water as an excuse. Like, well, do you have some friends that you could join on your journey, and that will make you more successful, and you're going to get paid to do it. So there you go.
I love that, Karen. Okay, so true. It's like if your budget really can't handle if it's a little bit higher cost for healthier food, then we need to work on your healthy finances, yo, right? Like, let's get you coaching and helping some other people and getting those benefits. So I love that. Is this network marketing? That's when sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't, because our model is just so different. But we are professional health coaching service. We're a service. And you as a coach are paid to provide that service to clients. We're not paid to sign up coaches. There's no stocking inventory. There's no discount. Coaches pay the same amount as their clients for their fuelings. And I love that. It makes us so much different. In a typical like multi-level marketing, they make you have minimum personal sales. We don't have that. We get the fuelings because we want to. We have high average frontline volume. We're helping actual people get healthy. A lot of people out there, they're just selling products like here's your lotion or here's your potion. Or we have complete health programs that are designed by dietitians and nutritionists. So it's really just a whole different type of a model. And here's something to think about. Who would want the benefits of coaching right off the bat? You're brand new. Talk to your best friend. Be like, hey, come coach with me. This is really cool. Or a family member, maybe your favorite cousin or your uncle or your health buddy who has been trying to get healthy with you for years and has struggled just the same as you, or your spouse. It's not just about like devoting 40 hours a week to a new job. That's not what it is. It's about having those benefits for coaching right off the bat. So I want to give you in these last couple minutes some easy starting steps. So first off, make sure you've done a meet and greet with your mentorship line. So usually it's your coach who sponsored you and then another mentor. Hop on a Zoom so they can hear your story and help you to get going off on the right foot. Make a list, even if you start with just 5 to 10 people who are on your heart and on your mind that you want to help. And then start doing some 3-way calls. The cool thing about coaching is on-the-job training. You can get the word out and help learn how to explain the program in an effective and efficient manner, just right while you're learning it too. That's why it's cool to bring on another coach with you, that you can both get trained at the exact same time. And it's super important is don't start posting on social media until you get your training. So talk to your mentor coach before you start throwing up some posts. So let's say you have someone. Sometimes we become a coach because, like Robin said, her dad was like, Robin, I want you to help me. So here's just a couple of good tips. Number 1, always facilitate their first order. This is super important because people, they will forget to add the books. They won't sign up for Premier. They're not going to get their free week. Like, it's just better, we found, to take the 2 minutes to do it yourself. Start them with the Essential Optimal Kit with the Habits of Health System, so they're getting that education piece. The username is their email, password is welcome1! It's just super simple. Help them get into fat burn and team coach. Have your mentorship team help you with those first few clients so you know what to do. A lot of people say, well, I don't know if I could become a coach because I don't know what to do. Of course you don't know what to do. You haven't been trained yet. So that's the good news, is we're here to train you. And just follow the simple system. We have it laid out for you step by step. Listen to the calls. This is your education piece. If you were going to learn how to become a nurse or a lawyer or a teacher, you would have education. For health coaches, it's the Habits of Health call on Wednesday nights, the Tuesday 20. It's corporate trains Monday night. It's in-person, local events. Connect yourself to these things, and you're going to find that you're going to be a lot more successful in really those reasons why you became a coach. So, all right. Well, we are so glad that you guys joined us, and we hope that you connect with your mentorship line, and we're so glad that you joined the Welcome to the